Ready?
Yep.
Oh my God. It looks like the broadcast was deleted on Facebook. Try creating a new broadcast or just remove the destination from the broadcast and re-add it. Let's just remove it. I don't know why that happened.
Okay, so it just popped up on my phone. Watch live now.
On YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What's today? The 28th, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I messed up the thing.
Oh, wait a minute. I need a pillow behind my back. God.
Okay. Do what you gotta do. Run with it. Okay. I'm just gonna have to like delete the Facebook one. What's happening? All right. I don't know if they can see us. Do you think? Because I have like broadcast. Are we live?
Yeah, it's alive. It's live.
We're live. Hi.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. I guess we'll miss the countdown then. Hey. No need to count down. Hello. We are live.
Looked up. It was 55 seconds. We're like, oh
hell. I'm like, it's broken. What's happening? Logistics. We see you too. How is everybody? Check out the improved sound equipment. Lori Snarky. What is it? Sweep it Snarky, I think is her name. She's changed it a couple times in a year. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I had a whole thing planned, but clearly I screwed that up. That's okay. But hey, everybody, how you doing? let's just roll with it. It's cool.
Stanley.
Drinking the water check. Yes.
Water
yeah.
check.
Oh, that's a very lovely water bottle you have there, Kat. Do tell me.
She's like, go, 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 go.
I need to move my mic. I feel like it's right in my grill. Hey. Oh, Barry White. What's up, me? Okay. Here we go. This is it. They're going to see all our messiness. Okay. So we got some things going on. Let me. We're not going to do the 30-second intro since they screwed that up, but I got some other things I've been learning. We just lost Sherri.
She's coming back. I see it. She said she can't hear. She's having some sound issues.
Oh, okay. She'll come back.
Okay.
All right. Well, while we're doing that, got a little surprise for you. Did you like it?
The ATLian approves.
The ATLian. I'm not gonna lie. I totally screen recorded the ATLian or like screenshotted the ATLian from someone. I was like, whoop, it's fine. Everything's fine.
It worked.
Did you like it? It's good, right? We need a promo. What's wrong? You okay? You got a face.
For me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, only because I'm just cold.
Oh, it's not injection day, is it?
It is injection day.
Oh, is that why you're cold? Hey, Sherri, welcome back.
She's back.
So usually, okay. So we have a big announcement. If you're just joining, we have a huge announcement.
Yeah, we do.
So, we have our first sponsor for the podcast. Yay! It's a really big deal. Woo! It's somebody that believes in us and what we're trying to do and is like all in and wants to support us so we can continue to grow and reach more ears and more eyes of anybody that needs help to learn more about this.
Yes,
and yes, we appreciate you so much.
Apple juice, just
and without further ado, I'm gonna announce who it is.
Who is it, kid?
iBeam Health is our first sponsor. And while we have others that are interested, they are the first ones and they are all about it. And it's just really exciting. So you're going to see a lot of their commercials in all of our episodes in our lives because they're helping support us, guys. They're helping us get loud. And this is huge. So Yes. All right. Excited. Yes.
Super excited. And we know that iBeam is like one of the best in the game. So you all know that we wouldn't, have anybody on that was not above board.
We have turned down some others. So, just so you know, this.
Look,
yeah, there's a high bar because we know, right? We live this, like, so
we do.
It's great. Yes. So, yay, happy. Okay, so just anticipate the fact that there will be a random commercial every now and then, which is fine, and just just take it in.
Consider it,
Yes. It's such good news. So, okay, let's start. We have a community guest. Can you hear me okay?
I hear a little crackling.
I hear like a little crackling.
For me?
I don't know.
If I talk right now, can you hear it?
Yeah.
Really? Like this?
I don't hear it now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna blame Sherri.
We're just gonna blame Sherri. We're sorry, Sherri.
Me.
Speaking of Sherri, hey Sherri.
Hello,
How you
hello.
doing?
I'm
Welcome
doing
to the
great.
Plus Sides Live.
I'm so excited.
We're excited to have you here. So for those people who do not know, who are joining us today, we are going to try every live to have a community story. We realize doing this that we all have day jobs, and we only have so much, capacity to be able to do as many videos as we need to do and episodes and talk about all the things that we want to talk about and need to talk about. And so we were like, hey, let's do. Actually, husband came up with this idea. He was like, listen, you should do some lives on YouTube and let your community come on because their stories are important and time goes by, right? And you guys need to be able to have your space. So he was like, you should do lives. So that's what this is. And you're our first one.
I'm so excited. I'm honored to be the first one.
Well, we're so excited to have you. Yes.
First.
So just like we do on the podcast, you have the space to say what you need to do, what you want to say, and it's going to be unfiltered, uncut. We don't do that here. So if anything gets emotional, we just breathe through it. We work through it together. But anything that you say, it matters. There's someone out there that will hear it and go, you know what? That sounds like me. You know what? I think I'll go talk to my doctor. And then they don't have to die, or they don't have to be sick and sad and miserable because they're sick. And, there are ways through this and we just need them to know. So I would love for you just to take that space and we're all just going to sit here and be quiet.
Yes. I appreciate it. So I am 50 years old. So if I went back and went all the way back, we'd be here for hours about my history with weight loss. But so I'm just going to cut to about 10 years ago. So I did finally find a doctor who was willing to listen about my weight. He was very compassionate, would sit and listen. However, he was still the doctor who was eat less, move more, Mediterranean diet, but yet supportive in a way. He rides his bike to the hospital every day, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'll try whatever you want me to try. Just let me try it again. Done the Weight Watchers, the Jenny Craigs, the everything, and just white knuckles it and can never lose but 20 pounds and then gain it back, right? So in 2014, I became a flight attendant for a very teeny tiny little airline, and I had applied for the big D where Janine's at the same time, and I had to pass up that interview with them because I had just started with the little company. And so at that time, the deed was not doing video interviews. It was all phone. And I had gotten past all of that and got invited to the face-to-face, but I turned it down. And then after that point, I decided I was going to keep trying and I had to do video interviews. And I felt that my size on the camera was just holding me back, right? So I applied 6 years in a row with that big airline, Delta. I was so excited. And my mom has been going through congestive heart failure stuff since 1994 actually. And I decided I was going to get healthy because I needed to take care of her. So I went to the gym. I lost 50 pounds on my own, and I was feeling strong. And I remember her telling the nurses, my daughter has to be strong so she can lift me from the bed and, and to help and stuff like that. Well, then I got a video interview with Delta and I got the job. And I immediately was like, that's it, because I was smaller in the smaller body, right? And my mom passed away 2 days before I left for training with Delta. And I went to training, and then they were like, we're going to send you home, and I'm like, nope, I'm here for the 8 weeks. I can do this. My support system is my classmates, and I can do this. And I went through the training and everything. And then afterwards, I really had a big breakdown because I wasn't grieving. I didn't grieve. And at that point with the grieving, I packed back on the pounds. And then I end up with multiple other weight loss issues, with multiple health issues. I couldn't breathe, for one. I'd be walking through the airports with my bag, and I just couldn't keep with the crew. And I was like, why can't I breathe? I would be doing the boarding announcements. I'm like, why can't I breathe? I'd have to stop and pause. So I went to the pulmonologist, and he said, well, you're obese. That's why you can't breathe. And he chased me up and down his hallway in his office and had me go up and down the stairs listening in the stethoscope, like listening to me. And he's like, see, you hear that? That's because you're obese. And I was like, okay, well, what do I do? And he says, you need to go to the gym. You need to work out. You need to eat less. And I was like, okay. So I called my husband. I said, I'm going to the gym with you starting tomorrow. I'm on the treadmill, could barely breathe. Sound like I've had some lung disease, coughing up a lung. My heart rate's going into the 200s, but I'm like, this is what I've got to do. So then I'm super fatigued. I go to a cardiologist because now my heart's hurting, right? I'm working out so bad and I'm not losing anything. If anything, I'm gaining weight, and they've got me on steroids, and I go and they tell me, you have Wolff Parkinson White. You have an extra heartbeat in your heart. And this is in 2018, the end of 2018. And I was like, okay, so what do we do? And they're like, this is a childhood thing. How did you not know you had it? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, fix it. So I had a cardiac ablation at the beginning of 2019, and they supposedly fixed that. And I went to go do cardiac rehab with a bunch of elderly people who were kicking my ass on the treadmill. And I was like, what's wrong with me? I still can't breathe, but my heart's working just fine. And so I would not go back to that doctor who told me I was fat. And so I went to another doctor up in Chicago, and she was like, you have this disease called idiopathic scoliotic stenosis. She's like, you're actually breathing through a straw. That's how big your airway is right now. And so I had a surgery. They cut that out, and they're like, and I felt amazing. I was like, this is what a human being feels like. And like, I was walking through my daughter's campus, going up and down hills on our campus in college, and I wasn't struggling, and the weight was starting to fall off because I was able to move for the first time without, within 8 weeks that issue grew back. In December,
we're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah. Might have to not use the AirPods if it's possible. It was doing really well though. We got almost all of it.
Yeah.
Welcome to Lives. It's crazy.
I know. We just roll with it.
We just roll with it. I mean, what are we kidding? We record, we do the same thing.
Mute too.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. And you're on mute too.
Hit the mute on your screen.
Yeah.
I think I can unmute her if she is muted. Let me see if I can.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh no, I muted
we
her.
got back to mute.
Okay, let me see if we can hear you.
So in December 2019,
Great.
I had a tracheal resection, and they went and they cut through my thyroid and took out 4 of my tracheal rings, and that pretty much solved my problem with the idiopathic scoliotic stenosis. So I started to work out again. I'm sorry, I did not work out. The doctor told me just go for walks. That's all you can do. Take it easy. So in February, the surgery was in December. In February, I was out taking my dog for a walk. It was beautiful out here in February. I lived outside of Chicago. For once, it was nice. And I got attacked by a dog in my neighborhood, and it tore my shoulder.
Oh, no.
And then COVID hit. And so I couldn't have the surgery. So my biceps rolling down my arm, I'm in a lot of pain. And I go and I have the surgery, and I end up having 2 additional surgeries. And I was like, okay. And I read the doctor's report, and he said that due to my obesity and my BMI, he had to have additional staff in the room to perform the surgery. And my heart just broke. I was like, really? I was probably 225, maybe, I was like, are you serious? And so I'm like, now what do I do? And it just kept being like a slap in the face, a slap in the face, a slap in the face. And so last summer, I started hearing about Mounjaro and Ozempic on TikTok. And I was like, what am I going to, like, this sounds amazing. And I'm like, I'm like, is it real or is this something else I'm going to fail at? Because everything else, the diet was a failure on my part. I always felt like, the exercise, I just didn't do it hard enough. And so I started watching some of the newer creators and stuff like that and doing my research. And so in August, I started on Ozempic, starting off at 225 pounds. And I stayed on Ozempic for about 7 months because then I switched to Mounjaro in April. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes at the time, so I was able to get on the Mounjaro. And during the first 7 months, I lost 30 pounds on Ozempic. But I also was having a lot of side effects. I was getting a lot of that gastric upset. I ended up in the emergency room, really dehydrated at one point. So I was really grateful to get on the Mounjaro. And since starting April in Mounjaro, I'm down 21.8 pounds. So now I'm down 52.2 pounds. And I actually weighed in this morning the lowest I probably weighed in. My mom passed away in 2017. I was at 175. And so now I'm at 159.6. So, and
That's
it's just,
amazing.
yeah, it's just, I mean, it's amazing. And it's just, and I was explaining, just to go back a little bit, the podcast, has been amazing. I love listening to the podcast. I listen to it when I'm driving. And July 10th, I was driving in my car, listening to the podcast, and I passed out while I was driving. And even though during this process of driving, and even though I couldn't see, and all I could hear was the engine revving because my foot was nailed down on the gas pedal on the expressway, I could hear Kim's voice talking about benefits for who, benefits for all. And that's what I remember, like, hearing those about benefits and how, we were being held back, in our struggle to get this medication by PBMs and insurance companies. And I remember waking up as I was re-entering the expressway and almost barreling to the dividing wall. And I got to the edge of the road and the podcast was still going, in my head. And I was just like, this podcast is just amazing for people. I mean, if they listen to it, I mean, I'm not going to say it saved my life, but the doctor did say I had a cardiac event, another Wolf Parkinson White episode. This past Tuesday, I had another surgery, on that, but they didn't believe me. One of my doctors, my PCP, wrote in my notes that he felt that it was due to dehydration, low blood pressure, and the upping my dose to Mounjaro. So while I was laying there awake, having this procedure done on my heart, because I had to stay awake during the actual procedure, the doctor goes, "Oh my God, there it is." And he's talking to the woman behind him who's running the computer because they're mapping out my heart on this screen. And he goes, "There's WPW." And my eyes get really big. I'm like, "I was right?" And he's like, "Yes, you were right." And I'm like, "I was right?" I must have said it like 5 times because I was 6 days from seeing the PCP to have this procedure, thought I was a hypochondriac. I was just full of anxiety. I, must be just making this stuff up all in my head because maybe it was the medicine. Maybe it is low blood pressure. I don't know,
Yeah,
but for them
for
to
sure.
and then he tells me that they found a very dangerous arrhythmia, and he was very shocked that I did not have a heart attack in the car that day.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So one of our listeners said, what is WPW?
It's called Wolf Parkinson White. It's what it is in your heart, you normally have a loop of your heartbeat. So down and then up. And it stays in that circle. Mine would go down and up, but then it created an additional pathway on the left side of my heart. And so it would go down and up and then do a little beat on its own. So it was constantly double beating. So my heart would race at over 200 beats per minute without even moving. I'd be asleep and wake up and feel like I was on a treadmill.
Terrifying.
Yeah, wake up tired. So what they had to do is they would go through your groin with these catheters and they would map out your heartbeat. And then when they find it, they had to poke a hole from the right chamber to the left chamber of my heart, go in there and cauterize it and zap that area. And then that stops that extra heartbeat from happening. But I was thinking, I was joking with the nurses before. I said, "Am I just getting too healthy?" Because I'm like, I didn't lose 52 pounds to have a heart attack. I'm sorry. I'll just eat donuts.
Hell no.
Serious. But they're like, "No, this is, it can come back." And he said, nothing's ever permanent in medication or medicine world unless you amputate something. So they were able to cauterize it before and after. I had to wait about 40 minutes on the table. being a little sedated at the time to make sure that it couldn't repeat itself. But they said it was fixed, But my A1C was almost 7 when I started. It's at 5.3. All of my cholesterol levels, everything's in the green now. I've got
That's great.
energy. I went back to school during this time when I was, off, going through all these other health things. I just graduated with my counseling degree, and I'm going to help other people, in the future. And I'm going to grab my certification in eating disorders and obesity treatment, because I feel like I don't want to do any harm.
Yeah.
All of this has a lot of baggage. I mean, like we come here with lots of thoughts of failure,
Yes.
and it's not. And if we start to think that the diet failed, I didn't fail the diet, and maybe it wasn't the right diet for me, or
Yeah.
and I mean, I see so many people on these platforms that are like, I've been on XYZ for 3 months and I haven't lost anything. What am I doing wrong? And it's
What
like,
am I doing wrong?
may not be nothing. You may not be doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
You may be doing everything right, but not every medicine is right for every person. You just haven't found the right thing for you yet.
Yeah.
But and I was tired. I'm exhausted. I feel like I'm always the person that has the 1% illness, that the 1% disease, the super rare thing, and I said, can I just have something that's common? But I felt like for 6 days I really beat myself up about that, feeling that that I was wrong, that my doctor, maybe I was dehydrated, I wasn't eating enough. But I mean, as Janine and I know, we drink 3 of these a day. And
I literally was just thinking, water check. All people listening and
Literally.
watching, water check. Do it now.
Literally.
Now's the time. We should have like a segment.
Yeah.
We'll just put in like a cute little thing. That's what we'll do. I'll work on it.
And I texted Dr. Rentia, who's my obesity specialist, while I was in the emergency room.
Friend of the show.
I love her.
And I texted her and she's like, I don't think what they're telling you about being dehydrated is right. She's like, I think it's more of a cardiac event. So having her in my back pocket, supporting me and pushing me to really advocate for myself and not give up,
Yeah. I think that's something we're learning through this journey in general, is not just advocating for like your obesity treatment, but advocating for your health. I mean, and all the things that are related to it. I feel like I've gotten way more, I'm just going to say it, ballsy when it comes to talking to these doctors than I ever used to before. I think that's a big thing. And medical gaslighting is a thing. I mean, it really is. And like
totally.
I mean, like that doctor having you run up the stairs and like, if I knew him now, he would get throat punched. Like, that's just bad. That's awful. I'm sorry you had to go through that, friend.
I'm learning that.
Humiliating. Like, why would yeah.
Yeah, and I want to advocate for my clients too. If they need somebody, and like I said, that's why I feel like getting that certification and helping people, be able to advocate for themselves and learn how to teach them to stand up. I mean, I went and saw 3 doctors in 1 week, actually in 2 days, and they're like, "Why are you talking so fast?" I said, "Because I know you have 7.5 minutes to listen to my whole life story."
Yeah.
And I need to catch your attention, because this is serious, so.
Yeah. What'd they say? It's fascinating.
And I got warned with one doctor. His son was sick and his wife had been calling him and he was apologizing because he had to step out. I mean, I understand, I've got a child of my own, they were sick.
Yeah.
But I was just honest. I'm like, I know I only had the cardiologist, the second cardiologist. I had an hour time slot because it was a brand new consult. So I knew I had time and I could slow down with him. But everybody else I saw on my chart, it said 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't hit those bullet points and have my notes ready, they're going to walk out and, and be done. So,
yeah. Awesome. Thank you. That's just like, it's so important to hear those things. And I think too, as people are learning, about this disease and learning about these treatments, like hearing different things, like about, for example, your heart. We've heard so much about, and if you're cool to talk with us about it, I didn't even ask. Sorry. I usually do. I'm usually better about that. I'm more structured. But, you are talking about it. I get it. we friends, we know. But in terms of your heart, we hear so much about Mounjaro and like the cardiac benefits. And would you say that's more of like preventative cardiac benefits, or does that help you with anything that you have going on?
From what the doctor said, specifically Dr. Rentia said that it's more of, if you don't have them, it's like it protects it like the wall that'll prevent it from happening, because then of course your cholesterol is going to be lower. Those things aren't going to affect. But if you have already have the high cholesterols and the high liver, fatty livers and things like that, it's going to decrease it because now you're getting better. You're getting well in all of those areas. So that's like the benefits of it on both sides. So, I mean, if you're not there yet, hopefully it puts the wall up to prevent you from getting there. And if you're already there, hopefully it drops that wall and helps you to get better.
Okay. Yeah. I get that. Okay. That makes sense. I feel like we just kind of hear about it. We're like, yeah, it's good for the parts and good for the livers and good for the brain. And we're like, but how? Like, so we need to talk about that. That needs to be an episode. How is it good for the things? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Remind me.
Guys, I gotta say really quickly, thank you, Mounjaro. You just donated a little bit of.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Dave. Hey guys, if you don't follow Dave, he's on TikTok, but he's also here on YouTube. He does great shows and great lives. I think Thursday nights, aren't they are? Thursday nights, right? Yeah. Follow Dave. Dave's great. He brings
funny.
Yeah, those TikToks are hilarious.
That screaming badger or whatever.
He has found it. The screaming badger. Oh my God.
Is it a badger?
I don't know. Dave, what was it? A badger or was it like a beaver?
See, I was not gonna say that on purpose, but here goes Kim.
I mean, y'all know I ain't got no filter. It's coming out. Yes. But thank you so much. And please go follow Dave. He is great content. Great content. Anyway, hey, so we're still kind of trying to figure out like how our segments are going to go and stuff. But I want to make sure that I took an opportunity to thank you so much for coming and sharing. And we are going to like talk some trash now, and we would love you to hang with us. But obviously, if you have to go, we understand. So I just want to make sure.
I'm going to mute myself.
You're going to stay? Okay. All right. All right.
And if you're going to stay, then I want to see, you say counselor and her dogs, so we're going to have to see the puppies, right? So
they are a menace to society, so they're downstairs.
Oh, okay.
Because if
I
they
have those too.
Squirrel or if they see anything, and I've got food for the family, so as soon as if they saw the DoorDash person come up, it would be.
That's awesome.
They
dogs are crazy.
They would never come into a session. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that's good. That's good. Structured. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we're gonna talk about some. What was up, JT?
Oh no, I was just I'm the reason I'm looking. I know Kat is looking down. I'm looking down, so I actually have my nice little stand. And
cute.
That's
cute.
Trying to be. Oh, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm. She has a nice little stand, see, but I already have, I am probably the one Android user, but this is so mad convenient here.
I don't know. Look. My friend Catherine uses, I have like 5 friends that use, and they're all like friends, actually.
I love my
for the most part, they're all Androids. I don't get
it.
But I don't want to learn.
Android users mess up the iMessage chat.
Why?
Yes, we can't iMessage. It's that. We can't reply to your comment. Like when you and me and JT are in a chat.
Emojis, we can't do anything.
No. They'll get caught up. Listen,
we can't reply to one
payroll.
piece.
Listen, I'm on neither payroll. Okay?
Listen.
I have no loyalty to neither one. But I am not going to fool with a brand new operating system.
I get it.
I don't care.
Honestly, it is an adjustment. That's why I don't want to switch either.
And I'm so destructive. When this thing falls,
I have like the heavy case. Like it's like nope. Like
I don't know what I would do without like an iPhone, and I have my iPhone. And
well, then you better talk to the people at Apple to pay you a little something because I don't fight for a brand that I got to pay to use.
Well, I'm not fighting.
You're so sassy about this.
It's because everyone is like, oh my God, iPhone is so much better. I am on neither payroll.
Just, like,
but go ahead.
Integrates with everything. Like, when like apps say,
but it's pretty proprietary.
We have it in the like app store, but we don't have it for Google yet. That there is a red flag to me. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go over with the people that seamlessly integrate.
Sure. Yeah, you're buying all that, aren't you? Speaking of red flags. Listen. Speaking of red flags,
that would be a red
we
flag.
have had some shit going on in the TikTok community. And it's a whole lot of trash, and we're gonna talk about it. We
need to.
And this is the cue for GLP-1 as the world turns. This is your segment, JT. Go for it. Tell us all the trash that's going on.
Money.
We'll talk about it here because we can't talk about it there.
What did you say, Kat?
I'm gonna call you JT Money. Who that? Who that? Who that? See, listen. Who that? Who that? Who?
Look,
And that's how.
JT Money. I like that. Okay.
JT Money.
So welcome to all of our TikTok family. Welcome over to the YouTube part of the world. We can be a little freer over here. It is pretty awesome, right? So this on the morning of July 5th, 2023, the TikTok universe, especially the GLP-1 community, was completely rocked on our foundation besides the medications. There were at least 50, there were like 50-ish content creators that woke up like myself at 5:30 a.m. And I said, well, let me just go on TikTok. And nice little banner that said that my account had been permanently banned. And I'm like, what? This is a joke, right? I could not log in again. I could not appeal. I didn't know what to do. Well, thank goodness for Rachel and other content creators. And the community just really came together because we're like, wait a minute, this is not normal. Something's not right. It wasn't just about the accounts. It wasn't about, anything about that. It was mainly about the community. We felt disconnected from the community. And I knew the community was important to myself and especially important to pretty much all of us. But when you don't have access to that, that's when it really hits home. And Kim can tell you, and Sherri would just check on me. She would text me and check on me. And she's like, Janine, are you okay? And literally, I experienced every emotion possible these past 3 weeks. And
it's a lot.
They're still trying us.
Yes. And the fight is not over. The TikTok is still banning, and we can say that over here.
We can.
Banning accounts, or you may hear us over on TikTok say banana. The account got bananaed, but they're banning accounts still. So people, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday of Wednesday of this past week, the day that I had my account reinstated after 3 weeks to the day, there were about 10 content creators accounts that were banned just at about between like 7:30 and 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There was no warning. It just said that you violated community guidelines and
didn't tell you which ones.
It didn't tell you which one. It didn't give you the opportunity to appeal. Nothing. So and to this day, I still feel somewhat guilty because my account was reinstated, and there were other accounts that, including some backup accounts, that have been banned.
It's still going on. Like even now, like we had those mass ones, but whatever rollout they just rolled out with their software, which I assume was a sprint because it was 3 weeks exactly. I'm assuming. But they rolled it out, and then I think that something's up with that.
They just did a huge update with the editing portion of TikTok. So now it's called Editors Pro.
What?
So, yes. So everyone, if you are watching a video on TikTok, you'll see a little yellow banner, like right above the name of the account holder. You will see a little yellow banner and it says Editors Pro. And I'm thinking it's an outside editing app. So I tap it and it's this whole big screen of, oh, welcome to the Editors Pro. And you can do this. Yeah. So
fancy.
So what I did was I did a little digging and
you did a little digging?
I know, right? So
it's your thing.
I did a little digging. And even though TikTok owns CapCut, which is a huge editing, which which is a huge editing software, and many YouTubers use CapCut. I mean, almost everyone uses CapCut to edit.
Yeah.
So they want to bring you off of CapCut and have you do everything in the app. So if you notice, if you go to post a video, you will notice there are so many more editing features now
Interesting. I'll have to go play with that.
Than previous. So that was
fun.
the first thing. So I know that I'm not sure if we can post the link for the legal link for TikTok, so we can rally and support each of the creators.
That's a great idea.
To help
I don't
them
have
get
it.
their
if anybody knows it, if any friends in the chat have the link for reporting like illegal to help people, could you put it in the chat so people have it? That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, we have to do the promo, and then we're gonna come right back to the trash. Hold on one second.
Promo.
Hold on. Promo.
Say goodbye to restrictive weight loss methods and hello to Ivim, the #1 prescriber of GLP-1 medications. GLP-1s curb cravings, stabilize blood sugar, increase energy, and balance A1C levels to regulate your body and kickstart your weight loss journey. Ivim is committed to making medical weight loss accessible, affordable, and customized because we believe that's how it should be. Sign up for free and get 20% off our accessibility programs.
Bam. And
woohoo!
Back to trash.
I love it. I love it. And so just for the sake of time, I will just do the second piece of tea that I have as the world turns in the GLP world. This week there were so many breaking news stories. I know Man on the Mounjaro broke the one about the results of the Surmount trials, Surmount 3 and Surmount 4, which pretty much cemented Mounjaro's like reign as like king of medications right now.
Yeah. And quick plug for Man on the Mounjaro again, because he has great news just like this. Go follow. He knows all the things and he knows it like super early. He's great. Go do it.
And
Dave, comment so we can follow you.
And he is like, he like nerds out on GLP-1s just like I do.
So
you
nerd.
Nerd alert.
But nerd alert. But what the other story that was very relevant this week, and I know I reported, well, I sound like a reporter. I made a video about this on my backup account, is where in Seeking Alpha, that's the name of the publication, they pretty much did like a deep dive into the like company valuation of Eli Lilly and of Novo Nordisk. I mean, pretty much, you know, Wall Street is
fascinating.
Is watching to see how these GLP-1 medications are really going to help the bottom line. But the key takeaway in that article was, because as we know, we're all on Mounjaro up here. We have all dealt with shortages and having to call like 20 pharmacies for your medication, and you feel like you've hit the jackpot when you find it. Right.
Totally.
Literally. So what Eli Lilly has done, they're in the process now. They're opening five new manufacturing facilities. I know that may not sound like a big deal right now, but it really is. They're opening 2 in North Carolina, 1 in Concord, 1 in Cary, and then there's 2 that are opening in Indianapolis. 1 is opening 1 hour north in Indiana, 1 is opening 1 hour north of Indianapolis. I'm not exactly sure the second location of the other Indiana location. And then they're opening a manufacturing facility in Ireland because they're taking Mounjaro to Europe.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So it is.
Europe will be happy.
They will be extremely happy, but then also the fact that they're going to, and it's not just Mounjaro. You've got Eli Lilly that produces Trulicity, which has the same injection pen.
That's right. Yep.
So it makes sense
it does.
about
Yeah.
this and other medications. So the demand has just reached a fever pitch, and it's probably not going to subside. The last thing is the Wegovy shortage. We now know why Wegovy is really on a shortage. It's not the medication, it is the injection pen.
Of course
So
it is.
the manufacturer of the injection pen, I believe is over in London. They kind of maybe had some sketchy dealings, and they're kind of under investigation. So yeah, so that is what's happening in the GLP world. We know that these situations are fluid, right? So
yeah, totally.
yeah.
It is constantly changing. Like I feel like every time I turn around, it's something else. I'm wondering, which makes it so interesting. But that's the thing, is the reason we're sitting here and having this conversation about it. Like, it's not because like, oh, it's this medication that helps us lose weight, right? It's
Right.
because we're amazed. Like, we've taken this medication that has righted something in our body that plenty of people told us either was because we were getting older, because it was menopause, because it was perimenopause, because we were lazy, like whatever it is. I get lazy a lot. Or because I didn't run up the stairs and I wasn't breathing good. Like, it's always been something. And then you take this medicine and it rights what's wrong in your body, and all those things that you were doing before now start to work and the weight comes. So the fact that it's about health and then we're all just like, it's miraculous. That's the thing, is no, I never thought it possible. Do you know what I mean? I think that's why we're all like kind of obsessed with it, right? Like, we're all sitting here and talking about it because of what it's done for our lives, because changing your health legitimately puts you on a different trajectory for your life. And it's just,
Completely.
it really is. I mean, they're all wonderful, but just the fact that it's here and that people can be helped by it, and it's just great.
But you all just think, it was Dr. Myra had said 100. It's actually 168,000 active prescriptions of Mounjaro in the US.
It's actually not that many. Yeah.
Only. So just imagine what is going to happen within the next year. You've got other GLP-1s coming out. Mounjaro is still going to hold its own. And I think we have already seen it, of where you get the script, and I say it, and I think we have all said this, you can get this prescription, but it's another thing to live with these medications. And they're coming to TikTok. They're coming to, the newbies are coming to YouTube to learn. And it's a responsibility, but a responsibility that we take very seriously.
Very seriously.
We just have to brace ourselves, because they're coming, and a lot of them are already here.
Yeah. I think too, what I've noticed lately with the TikTok is that like captions are on all the time, even on live. So you notice that? Yeah, because it's a freaking eye, right? Like, they're trying to find the words that we're talking about. Like, it drives me crazy, the censorship over there. Like, it's awful. And I get, like, it's the trend platform. Like, it just is. Like, all the other ones are great and social and powerful and all the things, but TikTok is the fastest, like, trendiest one. I mean, things live and die on there. Like, that's just how it works, And so, I mean, the thing is, though, is that, like, that's what they're doing, right? And I swear they devalued the hashtags of the medicines, because I had to quit hashing things, or I was like totally getting shadow banned. Like, nobody could see my content anymore. So I was like, you know what? Fine. I noticed I could say all the things, what I find at first. I could say all the things and then not put the written words, and everything would be fine. It would be like normal watching. You know what I mean? And then I noticed when the captions came on, even that's out. So I just hashtag nutrition and exercise and like movement, and I won't do diet. Diets can go to hell. Good. But like, I will say, like, that's it. Like, because I mean, like, look, I don't know.
Talking about diets going to hell.
Oh, speaking of journey, that's some tea. Tell us the tea.
Look at that segue. Talking about diets going to hell. The first thing, when I met Kat and Kim, they were like, death to diet culture. Death to diet culture. And I was just like, yes, death to diet culture. I was just obese, and I had problems breathing too, just like Sherri. I may not have had a cardiac event, but let me tell you, when you're a flight attendant and you're having to drag your own bags and you can't keep up with the crew, they're looking at you with the side eye. Oh, you better believe it. So
bombastic side eye.
Yeah, but bombastic stuff. Yes. So So, but talking about diet culture, so this week, Weight Watchers joined Sequence. Their CEO kind of doubled down and said, you know what, we're not going to participate in diet culture anymore. We
And did it.
yes. She said that GLP-1s are pretty much the way that this is the direction that the company is going with nutrition. And if there are, if medications are needed to assist, then they are. But this has been brewing for months because Noom, Weight Watchers, Joint Sequence, we've seen Jenny Craig close, Nutrisystem. These companies know that they've got to change the way that they do business. It's a completely different social climate. It is a completely different socioeconomic climate. And because of COVID, we rely more on technology more than ever.
And what kills me is sorry, this just makes me so hot. There's nothing worse than when somebody who invented diet culture, which traumatized millions of people for years, starts to have their business tank, especially since GLP-1s came more available. And then they go and they buy a telehealth. You know what I'm saying? And then they go buy a telehealth platform. I mean, don't get me wrong. From a business perspective, it was a baller move. It was brilliant. It was a baller move because they were tanking. And where is everything going? It's going this way. But I don't buy for a second. And the reason I don't is because I have friends that are at Sequence. And the minute that they were I think I always say when it comes to an acquisition, so friends that don't know me, I come from tech and startups and cybersecurity. So the minute somebody acquires another company, in terms of a merger, they always tell people nothing's going to change. And then within 30 to 60 days, there's a better together message, which is exactly what happened. And now it's, hey, this is part of our program. Here is a free membership for coming here and getting medication. And they're also trying to get them to do other medicine, like Saxenda and all of, you know what I mean? They're lies. You cannot combine two different methodologies, right? One is eat less, move more, right? And the other one is it's not your fault. Let's fix what's wrong with you. And then you can, eat less, move more. Do you know what I mean? And then it'll work because your body's working right. You can't do that. I'm sorry. There are two different methodologies and one is toxic and it broke people. So, I mean, maybe they have a shot with, I don't know, the 10-year-olds that are out there and aren't broken yet. Maybe. I don't know. I think that's the best shot. This makes me so hot. Sorry.
Because at one point in time, they've opened Weight Watchers for kids who are under 18, which really triggered me because let me tell you, if my mother had a choice and if they could afford it, and oh my God,
well, they have to embrace it because when you weigh in at WW, no matter if you're up or down, the question is, what did you do? And it's I was at a party and I ate too much. Or I worked out extra and I lost. So then in their meeting, they're like, oh, congratulate Sherri because she stuck with in her points for 5 days. Now if I'm weighing in and I'm like, oh, what did you do? Well, I started a GLP-1. Well, how do you talk about that? Because that's not anything that I did. This was helping my body, you know? So, they've got to embrace it because otherwise their whole lecture for that 20 or 30 minutes where you're sitting there, what did you do good, what did you do bad, has to embrace it because otherwise I didn't do anything but take the shot and allow my body to heal from inside and allow me to get better.
Because you were sick. And that's what I think people
also
don't get is people are sick. The people, we all are, the people that are taking these medications, we're taking them because we are sick. We're not taking them to lose weight. There is literally something wrong with us. We are sick. And Journey and I, we talk about all the time because she's type 2, and she's, that came with her obesity came later in life, but she is genetically predisposed to be type 2. And so it's we talk about it a lot, but it's we have to realize that we are both sick and therefore we both deserve treatment, right? Regardless of if there's enough available or not. And I really hate to see the riff in our community around these things when shortages happen because it's just the media puts it there and everybody wants someone to blame and this one blames this one and this one blames this one. It's a mess. And it's how are we ever going to move things forward, right? And elevate this conversation and try to change things if we're always at each other's throats, You're like, we
Not
just can't do that.
not to give away somewhat of a future episode. Remember, Dr. Rosen alluded to, maybe it's not entirely media. It's the manufacturing of something that's shot them in the foot, and they can't keep up. And I'll leave it there. You got
sure. I think, well, first of all, most people know what you're talking about because we've been running our mouths about it a lot. There's a compound episode coming up. We have a panel of doctors, obesity specialists, and a pharmacist from a compound pharmacy that works close with Mochi Health. And they came on to the podcast, and that's going to post on Wednesday. So make sure that you subscribe to the YouTubes so that you can watch it. It is an excellent episode. We ask all the questions about all the things. And I do think we'll probably have a second one as we start to learn more, but we learned a lot, and like there are some things that are surprising, so definitely check that out. But I think the whole idea, like when we just saw that thing that came out, Janine, that like all the doctors are posting about it in TikTok, but it was the one where they were talking about the gastric what's it called, gastroparesis, am I saying it right?
Gastroparesis.
And I'm like, we've always known that was a risk, but the whole idea behind these medications is risk versus reward. How sick are you? Like, so are you willing to take this medicine knowing that the chances of this are very slim because you're very sick, or and continue being sick? You know what I mean? And that's what people don't understand. But that shit's been around forever. But what happens when there's demand? How do you control it? Fear. That's what they do. They just keep throwing this crap out there to try to scare people. Drives me crazy.
But with gastroparesis,
don't be afraid.
It's actually very interesting. Chris Cuomo's show on News One, they had a segment last night on semaglutide, and stomach paresis, gastroparesis, and I watched it, but it was very interesting. One of the two people that are suffering from this now were actually on his show, and so she is type 2 diabetic, and if for diabetics, stomach paresis, gastroparesis is more of a risk than if you're not diabetic.
Interesting. So, and yet these medications were designed originally for those that are type 2.
And so when the doctor came on and explained it, and you all know that I just nerded out, and I was just like,
I know. I can always count on that.
So when the doctor came on and explained it, he asked her, "Are you a type 2?" And she said, "Yes." He said, "Ding, ding, ding." He said, "I am not your doctor." He said, "But I will say that if you are a type 2 diabetic taking a GLP-1, you do have a higher chance of this." Now, they said that the odds of a person taking a GLP-1 getting gastroparesis or stomach paresis is very, very slim. However, it is a side effect, but it's more, you have an increased chance if you're a type 2. And she is saying that no one told her this. She was having violent side effects. And as we know, it depends on the person, but Kim, Sherri, having previously been on semaglutide, and we're seeing this in the community where so many people are saying if they come from semaglutide over to Mounjaro, they're saying the side effects are not as severe.
Yeah, they're really not. It's much friendlier. Yeah, at least in my experience. But there are other people that I know, like Steph is an example, if you don't follow Steph too. And she started on Mounjaro, made her horrible sick, and then she went to semaglutide, and now she's doing great.
And she's fine. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It is so weird, but now this story has got legs. It is taking on a life of its own. If you Google it, that's like the number one Google.
Of course it is. Topic. Jeez.
And
doctors do need to know more about it.
Face and the Mounjaro butt, so now we have to have
the Ozempic finger. Yeah. Oh, not the finger. It's like, I'm telling you, like, the amount of people that, like, thin privilege is the thing. Like, the amount of people that are terrified of what this means to them if fat people get better, like, it blows my mind.
They can no longer.
Why can't you just want people?
We're no longer going to be a butt of a joke. It's changing so much, and it's not.
Yeah.
you're starting to see how, like, you know, thousands and thousands of years of evolution is basically the bigger people, we're just better at adapting to thousands of years ago of hunter-gatherer states.
We would have
We
survived.
we would have
Just gonna say it like
survived
that.
because we hang on to the calories and we
Yeah.
like the extra, you know, fatty, salty, sweet things, right?
Clearly, we are superior.
Yeah. So it was just, this is natural selection starting to like just,
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, so these drugs are like, hey, wait a minute, we are in an industrialized society now, so
Yep.
we don't need to be worried about when our next meal is coming. We don't
Yep.
have to worry about the next kill, like when's it
Yeah.
gonna come and we're gonna have to
Yeah,
eat it all
exactly.
in a week and then
Right.
starve, right?
Yeah,
No.
for sure. Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
these
true.
drugs, they're mixing and not mixing, they're alerting our hormones, hey, chill out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but that
totally.
all being said, because you know, I really do think people are so uncomfortable with the narrative being so flipped around
Yeah.
a 360, and
Yeah.
it's no longer a convenient thing for you to say, especially in medicine, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't make you do a humiliating thing and make you run up and down the steps
Yeah.
and say, hey,
No.
you know what?
It's just not okay.
It's
Like we
just
know more now.
That
There's
was
no
just
excuse
absolutely
for it.
horrible.
Like, yeah, it is horrible. I had this comment on, I'm really trying to learn how to handle these comments better.
Listen, I don't know.
I'm
I don't feed the
struggling.
trolls. I just cannot do
Yes.
it.
Nobody
Like,
really
or I'll do a
comes for
joke.
me,
Oh
but
yeah, it's because you're,
type
I mean, like,
2
I love you, but it's because you're type 2. That's why.
well, look, but remember, I did get reported for hate speech.
Yeah, facts. That was true. All because you told people, hey, know when you download the coupon, we can say it here. Know when you download the coupon that when you do, you need to attest that you have type 2. That is a fact. There's nothing wrong with that. That was excellent direction. Be aware. Like, that's what we're trying to help people learn and be aware and know these things, because there's not enough guidance around them. And they're very complicated diseases and very complicated medicines to treat them, you know? So that's why people keep coming to TikTok, because we don't have enough obesity specialists. We just don't, you know? And
But
it's
you know
a huge
what?
problem.
Think about it as well. Like maybe it just was not. I don't know. Was it not as attractive of a field of study, or they just didn't? It was completely dismissed. For you think about for centuries.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, need water.
Terry's
Water
like
check.
this one looks like a spaceship.
Look at this. Look at this thing. Oh, Sabrina Ramos, thank you for the, what is that, a super chat?
Yes, we got so many. Thank you so much. All those things really help us, because what we're trying to do is put money back into the podcast with like paid marketing to like blow it up. Like, because then we can get loud. The whole point is to get loud and see where that goes, because good things could come from that. And like, we don't know how this roller coaster is going to end, but we're certainly trying.
My very first live was the day before everybody got banned.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what do I say? What do I don't? What am I not saying?
Yeah. Like, what do you, because the censorship is awful.
It's true. Yeah. And
if there's anyone that I didn't think would do it, I really didn't think TikTok did. And do I know that their own, you know, they're basically
they're already kind of like,
yes, I do. Yeah. But this is America. Like, what are you doing? And the only thing I could think is like, maybe they're just like bending knee, because in order to stay with America and how all that money and all those things happening, like, you're going to have to like adjust, right? Which means it's very like Western at this point, you know? Anyway, you know me, I'll speculate my face off.
Over here is on Instagram as well, because I've just started to build, you know, I've got to build different places. Yeah. You never know, you wake up one day and Janine's like,
yeah. I mean, and that's what kills me is like Janine, I'm sorry, but she is. Janine is a type 2 diabetic obesity advocate. Like, it's absolutely insane. That is the one person, like, I'm sorry, nobody else deserves it either, but I'm just saying, you don't do that. What the
and the doctors that are advocating for all
the doctors that are advocating and educating us. No, it's not okay. And luckily, many of them have been restored, but it took way too stinking long, you know? But you know what? Like, we need to get them over here on the YouTubes. That's what we need to get.
We like the YouTubes, and
we do like the YouTubes.
And I don't know if TikTok even has this, where, you know, some accounts should be educational, like a Dr. Rosen, like a Dr. Albert, like a Dr.
I think we should.
You know?
Yeah, and therefore
Yeah.
protected. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
If what you're doing is trying to educate people, especially if you're like a doctor, right? Like, that should be a thing. You know what I
So
mean?
they said, well, it
I
was
think so.
technically crash diets or something. I remember
Oh
that
my
that
God. None of us
reasoning.
are crash dieting anything. That's the whole point. We're stopping doing that.
Remember in
That's
the
the whole
beginning,
point.
this is going to get off track. In the beginning of TikTok, that
It's
female that would
alive. We
eat
can get off track. It's fine.
carrots with mustard and a hot dog, and like she would dip carrots and
Gross.
rutabaga and she would eat a whole plate of veg. I was like, what is this?
I do have a friend that does that. That's what she
Okay.
does.
But my
No.
thing
I
is,
know.
why is eating disorders any different than when people are drinking
Yeah.
alcohol and smoking? Like we should be able to bring that
Because
to light.
vegetables are healthy, Sherri. So
Yeah,
therefore,
be able to
it
bring that
must
to
be
light and
okay.
support and
Oh,
assist
yeah.
people
Jeez.
that are struggling with those things. A lot of people are doing that in the background. They don't want
Yeah.
to come forward. They're ashamed of having their eating
Of
disorders.
course.
But you even say the word ED, and you're going to be like,
Yeah.
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 And you know what? The fitness community is so full of eating disorders, so
Yeah.
full.
Gosh,
But
yes.
Yeah. Speaking
Look,
of
but
fitness, wait. Speaking.
segue.
Cats.
Segue.
It's a new segment. Cat's Corner.
Cat's Corner.
it's so cute. It's so
Yes.
funny.
Hot
'cause
pockets. Hot pockets.
I love it. Cat's Corner.
All right, Kat. So in your
That is
fluffy fist,
hilarious.
tell us all
Fluffy.
about your segment.
All
Yes,
about my segment,
ma'am.
I'll be talking about, fitness and
Yeah.
fluffy fitness. You know
Oh,
what? So
wait a minute.
yeah. Oh yeah, you want your water?
Mm.
Water check. Oh, let me make
Mm.
the logo.
Oh, there you go. We have a merch store. Kat
40-ounce girls.
showing the water store. If you guys don't know, there's a merch store. It's in our description thing. And it's in my TikTok thing. What do you call it? Linktree. So you can go there and
Yeah,
you can get
Linktree.
merch. Yeah,
Yes.
support the merch. Let people know this exists, especially people that you see that are fluffy and likely don't know. Like, wear your shirt proud and go,
approach
check
that.
this out.
Yeah.
Check this out right here. Make you feel better.
Right here. Right here.
Anyway, tell me,
So
fluffy.
while we're on this discussion of our well evolved bodies, we're just more well
Yes.
equipped to hang on.
I
I think,
like
right?
that. I like that branding. Copyright.
We're just better evolved.
Yes.
So for the longest time, then forever, and with Mounjaro, I'm like, oh my gosh, hey, muscles, they're there. Like I
Yeah.
worked out like crazy. That was my claim to fame as a person that I loved fitness. I always have. I like the way it makes me feel. In fact, sometimes when people would ask me, oh, hey, how much weight have you lost? Sometimes I just wanted to slap them. I'm like, it's not about losing weight. It's just I like to sweat. I like to feel good, and I don't want atrophy. I don't want my muscles to start to fall apart, and I want to still be able to walk when I'm, God willing, if I make it to 85. I just want to take care of myself. Is that okay? Anyway.
I like to lay in the bed.
Well, that too. Listen, I am a Libra. There is a balance. You is always best of
I
both
like to
worlds.
lay in the bed.
I love to lay in the bed too.
Like,
You can do both.
You can ask my husband every weekend. I need to have my naps.
Yeah.
naps?
You're a napper.
Yes.
I'm not really a napper.
Oh,
I don't know. Like I tend
love
to,
'em.
I'm just not. I don't know.
Especially
Love 'em.
post
So do
workout.
you
If I come
take
home,
cat
take a
naps?
shower. No, it's funny.
Yeah.
You know what's hilarious? My nickname is Cat, but I'm actually allergic to cats. I
I am too.
don't
Like
dislike
violently.
them. I like cats, but I am
Yeah.
very allergic.
Yeah.
Really?
Me
I
too.
like cats. They're cute.
Well, all the more reason that this is quirky because it's full of cats and you're cat and it's funny. Plus
And
it
I'm allergic.
rhymes. Cat corner. I like the alliteration.
I love the alliteration.
So yeah, so we'll talk about it. So if you don't know about Cat, she does butt stuff. And that's not what you think. Cat does butt stuff. Hashtag butt stuff
Yes.
with Cat.
I'd stand up and squat, but my legs are so
And she does
sore.
squats.
My legs
All
are
right.
so
So
sore.
next live, Cat is going to get her
I'll do
hammies
something.
and squats. You're going to do something?
I will.
Next live, she'll be in a
Some
place where
bands
she can
out.
teach you. She can teach you some moves to help from getting
I'm a believer
Mounjaro
in
butt
bands. It's just
or Ozempic
that's what I'm
butt
saying.
or
It's-
Saxenda butt.
And here's the thing,
Or
like
Felicity butt.
honor
Felicity
your
butt,
body.
Wegovy butt.
Honor
Yeah.
your body, what it does for you.
Yeah.
Like what are the way you can like challenge it, make it, build up its endurance. You can do all of that. It's It's like honoring your body. It's another point of it could you could say prayer. It's I'm not going to wax enthusiastic here, but I did want
Yeah.
to make one little point. I remember when I was shopping for a wedding dress. This was exactly 10 years ago, or maybe 11 now. I mean, because we're coming up on our 10th anniversary. The little guy working at the bridal boutique that I bought from I walked in, I said, "Hey, of course, I'm plus size." Um, so I was using self-deprecating humor as usual, but he
Yeah.
said this was always my claim to fame. I was like, "Yes, that is exactly what I want to do." He said, "Yes, the way he said it, you are plus size, but you have a figure. Like you can tell that like you work out because you actually have a waistline." And not to say that it's, I'll just
Yeah.
listen. I worked hard for that little fluffy waistline that I
For the
had.
nook.
No, I had something,
Oh.
and then I had a little.
Okay, I'll pick a box. Your refrigerator.
He was. But the way he said he did this, he's like, "You have a figure." And I said, "Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Thanks. Body by weights,
Yeah.
weightlifting, cardio."
Yeah, that's
But
right.
now, like I feel like if you just put like, no, I guess not for vanity reasons, it's just put some muscle on your body. It helps. It's going to help stop your deterioration of your bone mass. I know working out is hard for people, but it's just, I grew up, I guess I grew up sporty. I like to
Yeah.
dance. I did Zumba. I got certified to teach Zumba. That was another claim to fame. I was a
Yeah.
fluffy girl, but I could smoke all of you in this class.
Yeah, that's amazing, Kat.
That was my favorite part. I can smoke every one of you because it's just, yeah, I know I'm going off on a tangent again here, but
No, we like tangents.
I
Tangent.
We
it
do.
just,
Do some
yeah,
fitness.
yeah. It just was
Tangent.
my
Go
claim
to
to
France.
fame. I loved it. Yeah, butt stuff in France with Homers. Anyway,
Butt stuff in France. That's right. There is butt stuff in
But
France.
stuff in France.
I
Go
just
to Kat's
reposted on my
playlist. You can
Instagram
watch
too.
butt stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, we're gonna take we're taking rapid fire questions. So they're allowed to ask us anything. Let's
Oh,
see how
and I
this
wanted to
goes.
say one more thing.
Say it.
Journey and I are going to go work out tomorrow.
That's right. The plus sides minus me going to work out
We're
tomorrow.
going to
Yeah, I'm
Cycle
gonna
Bar
get
East
picture tomorrow, but I
Hall.
wish you well.
You all pray for me. I
Okay,
have Mounjaro butt.
Yes, you
And I'm
do. I
going
wish you
to cycle
luck.
bar.
I have a seat cushion.
But
You
you
can
guys are
have
gonna
it.
film
It's
it
been
and
baking in
then
my car, sterilizing in the heat for like 3 years.
okay.
I am
That's not very
scared to death.
attractive, Kat. That sounds kind of nasty. I'm not
Yeah.
looking to
Well, you
So,
can use one of their seats, but
No.
there's been a lot of butts on them, right?
Shebana.
Yeah,
Let's be
no.
honest. That's why you
So
can use mine. It's living in with my butt, and my butt hasn't been on it for like 3-4 years.
I'm okay with
Because
that.
Still doesn't sound good.
okay, I know, right? Okay, here it is. If you do
Just let her
cycling,
buy one.
yeah, okay, just go buy one, buy one. Cycle bars seats to me are comfortable, but I have rode on bikes that seats felt like this, and I was like, "Are you going to buy me a drink first, or just
Yeah.
And so
Right.
that's why I bought a cushion for it. This is before I went to the cycle bar regularly. Oh God, those would hurt. I mean, LA
Yeah.
Fitness, you got to do better with their bikes.
I have a Peloton downstairs. I can't afford a Peloton, so I have an off-brand one.
That's
I can't
funny.
wait.
Hey, whatever.
I get cleared on the 16th of
Right.
July to work out again.
Oh,
so.
that's great.
Yay.
Good. See,
That's
woo!
awesome.
So we're gonna work out together tomorrow.
That's great.
And
And then we're gonna meet on Sunday, and we're gonna put
Yes.
together Rosie's gift from the community
Yes.
to thank her for coming on the show, and I'm gonna ship it to her. So it should be fun. We got her plus side stuff. We got her some Mounjaro stuff, the Mounjaro journal. I'm waiting on the Mounjaro candles. I don't think I have them yet. Hopefully I have them in time. But then we're gonna send it to her and just thank her for everything. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Okay,
It is
questions.
going to be an eventful weekend.
Yes, it will. All right. We talk a lot about food noise, anxiety, inflammation, and PCOS, but I would love to break down issues we haven't discussed with PCOS, like that are like type 2. Okay. Such as male pattern hair growth. Okay. Overgrown hair. That's really great. Yeah, we haven't really talked about like, especially like the male perspective of it either. You
My
know?
my hair growth from the PCOS, I used to get all those random underneath
Oh, I
there.
have them. Yeah.
It stopped.
Yeah, mine's way less now.
I get like
Since
maybe
Mounjaro.
one,
Since
and I don't know where it
Mounjaro.
comes from, and all of a sudden it's about this long, and it's like, where did that
Yeah.
happen overnight? Like,
But yeah, it's crazy. I don't
like
know. Like, why does that happen? Yeah.
I used to
And
have them
what makes it stop? Like, what makes it when you take Mounjaro, all of a sudden it just goes away or it gets a lot less? Like, what is it? I don't know. That's
because
a
I was
really good
asking the
question for an
doctor.
episode.
I was
Oh,
post hysterectomy, and I said, hey,
yeah.
do I still technically have PCOS if I don't have the equipment? That has.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They said, yeah, do you still have it? Because I still have my ovaries. So they're like, you still have it. So because I was wondering if that all would stop once I got rid of the equipment. But like I
Yeah.
said, once I switched from Ozempic to Mounjaro, I definitely noticed I still get one
Yeah.
random, but I used to have a bunch.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been great. I mean, it's only been a month, but the Mounjaro difference really, for me, it's very different. The inflammation, because I have a lot with arthritis, right? I have arthritis everywhere, but it's genetic as well as the fact that the obesity has gone on for so long. But for Rachel that asked that question, I will ask our doctors on our next show. And
That's a
speaking
great
of,
question.
Kat,
Oh yeah, I was gonna
Kat
say,
has
slide
an
into my
email.
DMs.
Yes, and she also has an email. It's Kat
That's
at the
why I
plus
made my name
sides.
Cat in my DMs.
It's slide into your Cat in the DMs,
Ask
Carter.
me
Cat
questions.
In
Slide
the
in
in
my
my
DMs.
DM.
DMs.
It goes
Yes.
down in the
So you can
DM.
DM Kat, or you can send her an email at cat@theplussides.com for questions you would like us to ask our specialist when we are on the show, or even help us like guide what those questions could be just in general, to help
Yeah.
us frame the show. Cause it's a community driven podcast. It's with things that we want to know about. Right. So we want you to have a part of it. It's important,
Oh, Bourbon.
Oh, look, Chase is here.
Yeah, I say Bourbon just answered it. It said
What's up, Bourbon?
hormone regulation. That's awesome.
Yeah. Chase is on
Yay,
episode
Chase,
2,
thank
Bourbon
you.
RX. It's great. And he was the first doctor that came on. We know he's not he's a nurse practitioner, even better. And he came on the show on episode 2, and he was the first medical professional that's come on the show that would actually be willing to discuss compound, like why it's good, why it's not, and all of those different things. So that's
Thanks,
wonderful,
Bourbon
because
RX.
we can't have all this gray area out here for people. It is a crisis when people cannot get their medication and they're sick. Like, it's not okay.
And
We have to talk
people
about
are
it.
giving the Breaking Bad vibes.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You
think
say
about it
Breaking
though.
Bad,
Where
I
we
was
had, for example, we had Lisa on our show, right? And Lisa talked about how horrible issues she had with PCOS and insulin resistance, and her life, if she goes off the medication, will will continue to deteriorate. And it's a matter of health. It's not a matter of weight. Like, we have to stop thinking about it that way, because that's a crisis to have someone that's been all but cured, if you will, or reduced by 90%, and then just go, nope, just kidding. Sorry, my dog's barking. A lot. I don't know how to stop it.
I have empty dog
Was that
syndrome over here. So
It's Kratos, yeah. Kratos is our service dog, and he does not like there's no one to service right now. So, because my husband is in the chat as the moderator extraordinaire.
Yeah.
So,
Gotcha.
yes. Okay, let's see what other questions we got, and then we should probably wrap up, because it's been kind of a long time. So, it was our first semi-structured, you know what I mean? And we had lots of things to talk about. So, let's see.
It just feels better over here. We don't have to be so
I don't have to
concerned with
banana
what to
and
say
stuff.
It's
awful the way they're doing this at
Yeah,
TikTok. Shame on you, TikTok. Do better. I met with a nurse practitioner because I knew that she would be my advocate. Yeah, especially after
100%.
watching Chase. Yeah, exactly. See, Chase, you matter.
Thanks, Chase, see?
Yes, you matter so much. Yes, that's so great.
Oh, and we have Kelly. That
What'd you got one?
Kelly said, "Hi, ladies. Thoughts on Wegovy?"
Wegovy's great. I took Wegovy. It's great. So, Kelly, I took Kelly here. That's fun.
I know.
I took Ozempic for quite a while, from like November until just like a couple months ago. And then I needed to move up because I've been on it quite a while. And I went to Wegovy 2.4. I thought it was an excellent medication. Legitimately, that medication saved my life. I'm always going to feel that way not saved it. Well, saved it. I mean, changed it, put it on a different trajectory, and it's for sure changed everything. It was a wonderful medication. But for me, and I think a lot of it's because of PCOS and insulin resistance, the Mounjaro, like with the inflammation, just is really, really helpful for me. But they're all wonderful. I've been blessed enough that I've been able to take them all and see, like what works, So I think whatever one that your insurance can pay for is for sure the one to try. Any kind of on ramp to getting better is something worth trying, in my opinion. As long as you and your doctor have made that decision based on facts and data, that's out there. There's so much of it with all these studies, I think that it's wonderful for you to take that. If you guys have looked at your medical history and you think the risk reward is worth it, that's my thoughts on it. Anybody else taking it? It's just me. Didn't you take it before? Or you took Ozempic, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Sherri took Ozempic.
Sherri took Ozempic, which is the same thing,
The
friends.
same thing.
It's the exact same thing. Yeah. It's just marketing. Yeah. Could each of you share a traumatic memory? Oh
yeah.
That's a rapid fire question, Lydia. Working to let go since losing weight. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Mental aspects, finally getting things. Yeah. That's intense. What you doing?
Okay.
You go first. You go first, Sherri.
I'll go first. It actually happened this weekend. I was in the pool. I wanted to get in the pool before I had my surgery because I knew I would be not able to get in. I'm out of bed. I was so confident putting on my swimsuit because I'm like a much smaller size. And I walk out there and I feel like all cool. And I'm in my floaty and I'm floating around and I look at my legs and how like they're getting jiggly and like squishy looking. And I'm like, I got so mad at myself. I was like, all of a sudden I'm like, I'm losing all this weight, but like my legs look horrible. Like that's my thought, but I had to like stop and take a pause and be like, but my legs promote my being able to walk, and I can eventually, once I get the surgery, I can start to work out again and like Kat said, like I was working out at Orange Theory before at the same time Janine was. And I feel like that helped a lot too, because I feel like there was a lot of muscle underneath all of that fat. And so as I was losing, now the muscle's still there. Like I didn't lose a lot of muscle mass when I weighed in, but it's like, you can't be hard on yourself. I mean, this is a whole process and you didn't gain it overnight. You're not going to lose it overnight. And that whole body dysmorphia thing is real. It's there, and you just got to keep thinking positive about it. So, but yeah, I just remember sitting there, like feeling so confident walking out there in the pool. Yeah. And then within a moment's notice, my brain, my legs look like shit, and I'm like, crap, wait, hold on a minute. How did that change so badly? And that just, that second.
It is nice when you can like step back and see those moments like that and be able to like, how could I have done that differently? Like, I feel like it's the same sort of like mental, I don't know, elasticity that I have like with my obsessive worry. So if you guys follow me, I talk a lot about how I had obsessive anxiety to the point where, and this kind of probably goes to, I would say, some trauma because I've lived with it so long, to your question, friend, Lydia. But I had an obsessive anxiety to the point where I would unwind my day in my head from every meeting that I had and every interaction that I had. I would think about what I said, if it landed, down to my facial expressions, to my motions of my hands, because I talk with my hands. Okay. And I would rewind that and think of how I could have done it differently. Why? The day is over. And even though I knew that, I couldn't stop. Or I would worry about these things that are in the future that I had no control over at all. And I would just obsess about them and I couldn't stop. And so at some point I would hold that in all the time. And then I would go and talk to my friends about it, my dear friends. And they tried so hard to be supportive, but I sounded insane when I would actually start to talk about it. And I could see on their faces how painful it was for them because it was so ridiculous. You know what I mean? But they were so kind to me and listened to me and let me talk through it. But that really didn't help anything because I couldn't stop it. And once I got to a certain level of this medication, that turned off like that for me. It's just gone. After my whole life, it was like that. And it just kept getting worse. Right. I guess it related to the weight and the sicknesses. I don't know, but it is amazing. And I've had this on every one of the medications. They're awesome. They're wonderful meds. And I think that for me, like I gear shift. So at one point when they went away, I had a very stressful situation happen and I started to worry and I panicked a little bit in that moment, like it's back. Right. And then in that moment I shifted and I went, yeah, but is there anything you can do about it? No. Well, then let's don't worry about that. That's a job for future you. I've never been able to do that before, ever. No matter how many people told me, anybody told me that this was something that I needed to do, I could never make the leaps in my brain, like to actually make those connections happen to then change the behavior. So for me, it's like giving myself grace when I do worry and recognizing like I'm on a different path. But I immediately went to like full panic, and then I just was able to wind myself back in. So I feel like that's kind of been the difference for me. But yeah, I guess that's mine for today because that's all I could think of. What about yours, Kat? I know you have
Oh
some
my goodness, I
things.
have so much to unload. There's when you
It's okay. We can end on this on how good
it's like
process.
a combination of anxiety, depression, but then like I understand now, if I guess my head is clear with Mounjaro, I shrink.
Yeah.
Shrink. And I have had to learn how to shoot for the stars.
Yeah.
It's safe to be quiet and shrink. And I fell into a high functioning depression when I moved to Charlotte back in 2006. This is where it started. And my heavy binging began. And I would just sit in my apartment, just sad, and this was where I knew this is how people end up on their 500-pound life show, where you just function and I was lonely, depressed. I took myself out of the element. It's just things just didn't work out. And I was lonely. I was very lonely. I had not a lot of friends around. I was it was a different city. For those of you who don't know, I used to be an on-air personality in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I had a great time. And then not on a whim, but my sister encouraged me to move to Charlotte, and I took a different career turn, and it just did not work, and it connected. And I would call it maybe myself just taking myself too seriously. I don't know. The stuff didn't work. So I just sat in the house and I binged. And then that's when I told he was my husband, he was my boyfriend back then. I said, listen, I'm either going to move back to Raleigh or I'm moving to Atlanta. It's your decision, because I can't do this. I can't do this.
Yeah.
I think I put on about 50 pounds. I put them on, and it's true what they say. When the doctors are saying, like, when your weight gets to a certain point, it is so hard to remove it. So I learned this pattern of binging that was just atrocious. But at the same time, shrinking. Things weren't really working out, so I would shrink and shrink.
Yeah.
I stopped taking risks. I stopped striving, and I'm definitely, you tell all my friends, I'm still working and processing that, and trying to just work for myself. But I don't know if that's like one triggering event, but I just know there's so many, but as an adult, that one just
But I don't know if you've noticed, but you're on a podcast now.
I know, right?
You're taking all kinds of risk.
I'm taking risks.
You're coming out.
But I'm still like, I have to get this report done at work. I can't, I shouldn't be saying that.
I know the feeling.
My employer's not listening. Go get this report done. No,
I doubt it. We're just a little known podcast. It's
a little known. But yeah,
what about you, JT?
Risks,
yeah. What about you, Jamie?
Are you side-eye?
Anything with you? Are you bombastic side-eye? You're side-eyeing.
No. I just know that I know some people say that they get anxiety or depression on this medication. This did the complete opposite for me. It just like cleared all the brain fog out. I now don't accept breadcrumbs, because deep down I kind of thought that, well, I need to just be happy with what I have, because it may not get any better.
So, my God, Journey, me too.
Yeah.
None of that. No.
And I don't have that anymore. I also find that now I don't try to be a perfectionist. And that's part of me being a Virgo. But I've learned that trying to be a perfectionist is really almost like a fear of failing.
Yes.
And I don't have that fear anymore. And it's just that it's like that song, I can see clearly now that the rain is gone. I mean, like,
Good song.
literally, I can see clearly. I don't have the brain fog, literally, that I used to have. And someone asked, what's your favorite NSV? I think that my favorite NSV has got to be fitting in jeans, fitting in skinny jeans. And I know that may sound vain, but it's just like, oh my gosh, I can actually fit in these. And that wasn't the goal, but it's a good, benchmark.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. So, all right, there is me. But yeah, I definitely see things clearly now.
Speaking of, I don't think I have any jeans that fit anymore, but I'm okay with that. I live an active
You guys
way.
hear that?
I hear something. Is your son singing?
You don't hear anything?
I hear
Nobody hears
music.
that but me? Nobody? I guess not.
No.
I thought I heard like a tune. Maybe you were trying to play the song.
I was. It didn't work. I was like, I wonder if this will work. I want to try it.
I was just like, no.
It's like, can you hear? It's like jamming in my headphones. I was like, this is great. Good. But it didn't work. I wonder if I could screen share and it would work. I'll have to play with that. It's a new feature. I was just learning about it in StreamYard.
Right.
Oh, water check.
Yeah, water check. It's about time. We should wrap it up. We've been on a while. This is about as long as one of our podcasts. What happens when you talk about trauma?
And Jernine and I need to have our rest so we can go take a cycle class tomorrow.
Yeah, you do. You do.
You're gonna
It's
be
been
fine.
so great.
You're gonna be fine.
There will be so much footage everybody can enjoy with us. We
The
can
music is going to be blaring and the vibe's just going to be there. And you're going to
be the vibe. I believe it. I believe Jernine's going to like it. Yeah.
And the only person you're in competition with is yourself. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, listen, you know what? No, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do if she does a lot of because it's the class that we're going to, not to give everybody the business, but it's called Foundation, which is the basics, the foundations you need to on a cycle class. So it's not going to be a lot of fancy choreography. We don't do fancy choreography anyway, but it's not a lot of
too bad. That'd be some great footage.
No, I am not trying. No, then she'll never go back with me.
All right, I get it.
Do that.
Okay, Foundation.
The side eye.
Yeah, bombastic.
There goes the side eye guy.
This is going to be so good. I already have my outfit laid out, socks, shoes, everything. I am ready.
Great. Awesome. Well, this is a nice way, I think, to end the night. Did everybody enjoy the segments? Let us know. Let us know if you like the segments. Comment when we post the live. And if you're looking for a telehealth provider, we have a sponsor you can look into. Let's do. We'll finish out with some clips. But if you have any questions, you can go there, and they do have we're setting up a landing page, but they'll have a special for plus size listeners. So I can't remember what it is, but because we just inked it, that you can go there and see if this is what works for you. If they're operating in your state, if you feel like you need an obesity specialist, if you're feeling like you want to try compound, then this is a possible option for you. So I'm going to play their ad. You can go check it out or not, but still, we're always going to, for the plus size is always going to provide you with resources. And they're going to be vetted resources that we feel comfortable with, but you pick what you pick. And that's it. But we're always going to do that education and advocacy. So we're going to make sure you have that. But that being said, we're going to have it out. All right. That's our deuces. What a great show. This is our first real live with community guest. And yeah, please reach out via email and go to our form. Like if you want to be on the show, we have a form on our website. You just go to our plussize.com, theplussize.com, and then go over and you can choose shop if you want to go to our merch store. If you want to donate to the podcast, you can do that. It makes me uncomfortable, but some people just really want to. Someone said, someone advised me, give them a space. If they want to contribute, they want to feel a part of it. So it's there. You can donate. And And then, you can buy a hat that donates to the podcast. And then we also have where you can go and submit your story to possibly be considered to be on either the live or one of the shows. So please go there and do that. Yeah. And there's a contact us form and all the things. So go to the website. That's what you do. I guess I put that in, huh?
The website is there. I just wanted to say thank you, Lydia. She said, Janine, you're going to crush it tomorrow. Thank you so much. I promise.
She is.
Totally.
Look, Kat is the expert. So I'm just trying to learn the bare basics tomorrow. And that's why I need you all to send me all the good vibes and everything.
Good vibes.
And and Kim, I didn't know, did you want us to give our socials or whatever?
Oh yeah, go ahead and give your socials. Yeah, I'm wherever the plus sides is, and I'm at, what am I these days on TikTok? DMF. Kim on Mounjaro on TikTok. Yeah, I used to be Dinosaur Monkey Farts because my kid made up that name for me, and I was like going to keep it forever, but then I changed it to try to get the Rosie story picked up, and because people weren't taking Dinosaur Monkey Farts like seriously, shocking. So I changed it, and I think we may have gotten somebody that picked it up, which is, I don't want to jinx it because I haven't spoken to this reporter yet, but it is a reporter that is specifically talking about some really big things. And I'm very excited about that. Reached out, and I'm just like, it will be really, really good if it can happen for all of us. So let's just fingers crossed on that. You never know how things are going to go. So we'll see, but yeah, that's where you can find me. Where can you find the other ladies?
Cat Carter 7 on TikTok at Cat Carter 7. In my DMs, slip into my DMs if you have questions. I'm Mrs. MRS Cat Carter on Instagram, on IG.
All right.
Or you can also see me on my other handle, Loudmouth Bakes, on Instagram. I am still trying to do that live too.
You make a good cake.
Live.
Yeah. You make a good cake.
That's a drawback sometimes when you want. Anyway. Yeah, we're going to go on that on a tangent. But Mounjaro,
what about you, JT? Where are you these days?
I am at the Janine, because the world can only take one. TheeJernine. I'm there on TikTok, the Janine, on Instagram at the Janine, and on YouTube at the Janine. Yep. Same thing.
What about you?
What about you, Sherri?
I am at _counselor and her dogs on both Instagram and TikTok.
I want to see the puppies. I guess I'll have to go to your socials and see them.
Yeah. You know what? I have one that will behave. The other one, like I said, we were having food delivered during the middle of the podcast. So that way, I knew they had to be exiled to the other side of the house.
Yeah.
So cute.
So you're at I'm going to do your thing right now. Counselor and her dogs.
_
Like Kim's dogs have been known to barge into her office. And
I had to change it.
Good.
Because
it's on the last episode.
Is the best. Kratos and Daisy.
Dixie.
Yeah.
Dixocrat. Yeah.
Those two.
I know.
Dixie
hates
Kratos is the husky, right?
No, he's what's called a Isabella Panda German Shepherd, but he's like fancy. Basically, he's got a genetic malformation with his hair. But he is fancy. He's a service dog. Yes,
he is fancy schmancy, and he loves his lamb chop.
He does. He squeaks them like crazy. Drives people nuts on my lives, and I'm like, stop it.
I had to change my name.
Who's the pug? What's the pug's name?
The pug is Hudson Hawk. Hudson Hawk,
pug burglar. Here in the background,
pug burglar. That's what we call him because of his, mask and all. I got a lot of them.
The hound dog. The hound dog.
Well, that's Raven, sweet Raven.
Oh,
yes, sweet Raven. She's a sweet baby girl. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my house is. I never show my dogs because if I show my dogs, I'd have to show my floors. And 4 dogs, I don't care how clean you are. No.
I have empty dog nest syndrome. I still miss having a pupper.
No, it's time.
Me too. Me too. I still miss her, like to this day.
We are a lover of animals, especially
and we
dogs
like
on this
big
podcast.
Dogs. They're gonna destroy my house.
Yeah. Only in the beginning. You can teach them not to. Listen, you can send them to a trainer for like 6 to 8 weeks, and it's amazing how they come back. I got tips. Yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So I think that's a wrap. Let's all go and sleep and rest. And we got a busy weekend. filming some stuff for the
out.
podcast and working out. It's gonna be great. I ain't gonna be there, y'all, but good time. I love you. I love you from afar, sending you vibes. Yeah. All right. Okay.
All right.
I think we're good. All right. Hasta la pasta, and we will see you next Friday. We do this every Friday. Don't forget. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.